Hey there, hope you all are doing well. Mm, Welcome to this particular session. In this particular session, we are going to uh, discuss some of the reading based questions on the basis of the topic, which you can see on your screen. And this particular text is taken from a philosophical based context, and the word limitation is 471, which is you can say that. More or less according to the mm, cat-based passages, isn't it? In this particular session, what our vision will be, our vision is nothing but simply to understand the text, and we um, we shall know that what kind of questions we meet and how we supposed to deal the question types. Beside that, means what are the things we need to observe when we go for the any of the reading comprehension text. Okay, so um, let me also urge you one thing that before you see the explanation and the solution to all these questions, um, your your priorities or your job is nothing but download this particular PPT, or you can say that image from the below given link, right? And try to do that and check your answer whether they are correct or not. Isn't it? Analyzing each of the questions uh, that you have made when you're going for the any kind of a practice, right? Practice of any of the questions. So fine, let me take you to the passage. Now, let me tell you, I have just read this passage, and as far as I understood, so that this passage is nothing but having four of the paragraphs, right? And what this passage is actually telling. So, in the first paragraph, if you observe that, the author introduces the idea, yeah, idea of what that called as a regularly talking to people smarter or more experienced than oneself, and explains means why many of us introverted readers might avoid it despite its value. So, this sets up the main practice talking to smarter people and the motivation for discussing its benefit. Isn't it? Look at that, the first paragraph where it is started with saying practice was having regular conversation with people smarter than you, or if not smarter in all ways, then a bit ahead of it. So, in that case, if I talk about that, the main practice is nothing but talking to smarter people and the motivation for discussing its benefit. That is what. So, I need to find out that what in each of the paragraph, what will be the topic sentence, what will be the main idea of each of the paragraph. So I have just read the first paragraph and I draw that means it is telling about uh, talking to smarter people and the motivation for discussing means discussing its benefit, isn't it? Now, if I go to the second paragraph is trying to tell us that what means uh, the second paragraph is stating that the author contrasts reading books with talking to people, and arguing that what while books give what books give general guidance, uh, conversations provide actually specific practical insights, isn't it? That's what it is trying to tell us in the second paragraph. Right. So if I say that the second paragraph is again called as associating with the first paragraph, and it builds on the first paragraph by explaining why conversation, not just reading, is essential, but means beside beyond that also, you need to do something, isn't it? Now, let's move to the third paragraph. What does the third paragraph is trying to tell us? The third paragraph um, urging that what now people need experiments. So the author shows that what humans learn best through social interaction, right? Observing not only you can say that facts, but also attitudes and behaviors. That's what the third paragraph is trying to tell us. So, beside the third paragraph, the fourth paragraph, which is clearly stating that what means the author acknowledges the partial truth. Partial truth in the saying what? In the saying, it's not what you know, but it's very important that you can say who you know, right? So it emphasizing that what human connection creates real opportunities. So this extent paragraph by paragraph, you can say that three, by showing that what conversations have practical benefits beyond learning. So they open doors actually, right? So likewise, I was telling about the paragraph four. So what does the paragraph 4 or called the last paragraph is trying to tell us. So the author in the last paragraph um, concludes by addressing what? Addressing extroverts and also introverts differently, right? We know that extroverts are nothing but the sociable people, whereas introverts are nothing but isolated, right? And proposes what? Developing concrete strategies to, you can say that, make the weekly smart conversation, right? Make the weekly smart conversation habit that actually easy or easier even you can say. So in that case, the last paragraph connect back to um, paragraph one, paragraph one, right? And means it tells that the audience, right? Audience means you can say that it tells the introverted readers that closing the loop with the actionable next steps, isn't it? That's what it tries to tell us. Now, in that case, I can say para one is uh, trying to do what? It compares. It compares what? It compares talking and you can say that compare talking versus reading, reading, isn't it? So that's what you would find out in the first paragraph. At the same time, the second paragraph is trying to tell us what? It explains that what? It explains why, it explains why means you can say that talking works better. Why talking works better, works better, isn't it? Right. Similar to that, if I talk about the third, fourth, five. So third is also telling about what means it explains what you can say that if I talk about that, the first paragraph compares and introduces the practice and audience. Um, it also talk about talking versus reading. The second paragraph is stated about nothing but explains second and third telling about nothing but explains why talking what's better actually. So and as well as it tells about the benefit, it extends benefits to opportunities. In the last paragraph we can say that it concludes it concludes with how how to apply how to apply means you can say that how to apply it in practice. It in practice, isn't it? So these are the things that you would find out in the paragraph or in this particular passage. Now let's look at the question which has been asked here. But previous to that, when we know all these things, so we need to know that means what is the central idea of the passage, right? So when I say that central idea of the passage, I could say that the what do you mean by central idea? That is nothing but after reading the passage, you draw means what you have understood, what you have inferred, isn't it? What does the passage actually try to talk? Right. So here in the passage emphasizes that what regularly conversing with the people who are smarter or more experienced than you is an nothing but called as a invaluable practice for personal growth, right? So it also offers insights, learning, and opportunities that reading book alone cannot provide. So therefore, means we could say that the main aim of the text or the central idea of the text is nothing but author's um, uh, suggestion to regularly conversing with people who are smarter or means you can say that more experienced, isn't it? So that's what is the central idea. The second one you can talk about style of writing. If I talk about um, how does that passes means point out the style. So when we say that the style of writing, then I can say that it is a didactic one. Didactic. Now, what do we mean by didactic? Didactic means suggestion, isn't it? So the passage is a didactic. Why? Because the author's purpose is to nothing but called as to teach. Author's purpose is to teach, and not only to teach but also guide readers. So, guide readers towards adopting a useful self improvement habit, talking to smarter people by explaining its practical benefits and also methods, right? So, at the same time, you can find out it includes examples and a conversational tone. Its underlying goal is nothing but instructional rather than merely descriptive or narrative. Got my point? So, hence, we can say the style of writing is didactic. Now, look at that. What could be the tone of the passage? When I say tone of the passage, I could say that the tone of the passage would be encouraging. Not only encouraging, you can also say that the author's tone could be reflect uh, or presented as the reflective one because the passage maintains a positive, motivational, um, uh, motivational or suggestive tone that encourages readers to what overcome their uh, reluctance, agitation, and embrace the practice of what meaningful conversation. It also shows what? It also shows reflectiveness as the author thoroughly and thoughtfully examines why people avoid this practice and how it can help these people, isn't it? So that's what we can find out. But remember that there are two different types of tone we can meet. One is called as on the basis of the passage, the tone that you draw, and the other one is called as the tone of the author, tone of the tone of the author, right? When I say that tone of the author, so what I can find out here that author's tone is nothing but called as a supportive, right? Besides supportive, it also indicating persuasive, and also you can say that regent, right? So, on the basis of the understanding, right? So, the author's tone is supportive. It's aimed to what? Convince readers, persuade readers through logical explanation. So, personal insights and also empirical evidence, isn't it? So, he shows understanding of his audience struggle. Got my point? So, audience struggles while gently convincing. Just a minute. So gently, you can say that convincing that what are the benefits that one can get, right? So therefore, we can say the key idea of the passage is nothing but called as a learning and growth happen most effectively through human interaction, isn't it? By talking to people who challenge and expand your thought process or thinking because conversations offer what specific guidance, social learning, and you can say that new opportunity that that you can say that um, only reading cannot provide you or solitary reading cannot provide you, isn't it? So therefore Means if I talk about this particular passage short, then I can say that the passage is a didactic and encouraging reflective one, arguing that regular conversations with the smarter individuals enrich or means better the personal and professional development beyond what books can offer, isn't it? So that's what is the main idea summary, um, as well as I can say the tone and style of the text. Now, look at that the question which is provided here. So I know that you must have tried attending the question, isn't it? So let's see that how many of you have done correct in this. So the question it asks here based on the conclusion given in the passage. Now, where is the conclusion? So here we find out the penalty means the last paragraph. In the conclusion is given here. Thus, isn't it? So based on the conclusion given in the passage, which of the following statement is if you find out such kind of a word like not inconsistent. So when I say that not inconsistent, it means it tries to find out that consistent. Which of the following statement is consistent? Based on the conclusion given in the passage, which of the following statement is consistent? Why? Because it is telling about not, it is also telling about inconsistent. So if I talk about this particular last paragraph, so um, what does it make actually? It makes sense to look at what concrete strategies you require to use to make it easier, right? To ensure success with the practice of having, you can say that one conversation per week with somebody who is smart and also means extroverted. So there are few different tactics to make it work, isn't it? So this clarity supports the idea that what supports the idea that having clear methods or strategy helps people practice this habit successfully, isn't it? So in that case, if I look at these options which are given here, uh, the first option said the practice of talking to smarter people should develop naturally without any planned strategy. Now, do you think that this could be the answer? Right? So think of it. So B said providing a clear set of methods can help individuals turn intention into action. Then third said, overthinking the process of learning from others usually weakens the habit. Then fourth, the author's advice is unnecessary since meaningful conversation cannot be planned. Now, if I talk about that, what did I say? Mm, I pointed that uh, that the passage at the end is trying to tell us, I think it makes sense to look at what concrete strategy you ought to use to make it, you know, success, to ensure success with the practice of having a one conversation. So in that case, if I look at the first sentence, the practice of talking to smarter people should develop naturally without any planned strategy. So this could not be considered as the correct one. Right. So, because it is, though it is telling that the practice of talking to smarter people should develop naturally, right? It's not naturally. The author stated that what you need to uh, use certain methods, isn't it? So, as the question is stated, not inconsistent with the passage, it means you can say that option A is not inconsistent, or you can't say that what we draw from the central idea of the passage, A is not pointing because it is stating that talking to smarter people should develop naturally without any planned strategy. But the author said that you need the planned strategy because only reading cannot help you, right? So you need to talk to smarter people and extroverted people. B stated providing a clear set of methods can help individuals turn intention into action. Yes, this is the correct one, right? Because it follows the idea called as we need to, or as per the author's suggestion, that one should have a clear set of methods, right? Uh, which job is to not only means read, but also means uh, turn into action, isn't it? But look at the third and fourth. Third is saying overthinking the process of learning from others usually weakens the habit. So it tells about nothing but the overthinking, right? So, and D also stated the author's advice is unnecessary since meaningful conversation. So, option D and option C are nothing but creating the negative points. Even means option A also stated about when practice of talking to smarter people should develop naturally, right? So in that case, option B would be the most appropriate answer to this, right? Moving to the second question.